Welcome to your second core connection session. In this session, we'll be building on our body awareness and core connection and also focusing on some stretching. When you're grieving, stressed or anxious, you carry that in your body as well as in your mind. You may feel physically tense, tight or even in pain as a result. Stretching exercises are a really helpful way to ease these uncomfortable physical feelings, and this can then help you feel better emotionally too. It is also a lovely way to show yourself some self-compassion and to care for your body. Right, we're going to start in standing, just thinking about our posture first of all. So stand with your feet hip width apart, hands on your hips, and then we're going to rock forwards and backwards between the ball of your foot and your heel. Come to rest with equal weight between those 2 points, and then just rock side to side and come to rest with equal weight between your right foot and your left foot. Just soften your knees slightly for me. And then we're going to think about the movement through your lower back and your pelvis. So if you imagine that your pelvis is like a bucket full of water for me, what I'd like you to do is tip the water out the front of the bucket, okay? And then I want you to tip the water out the back of the bucket. So essentially, if I turn sideways, we're kind of rocking through the pelvis, front and back. Okay, but as you do that, I want you to do that using the muscles that are just front and back of your pelvis. So pop your hands on your rib cage now, keep your ribs still, don't move your ribs, and I want you to do the same thing. So you're going to tip the water out the back of your pelvis, tipping forwards, and it's almost as if you're pulling your tights up at the front, yeah? So keep your rib cage still, pull your tights up at the front to tip that way, and now stick your tailbone out at the back, but without moving your ribs. So we are not doing this. Okay, we're doing that and we're really isolating that movement front and back, and it's really good exercise for just kind of waking up those really deep core muscles and also recognizing that our spine has a lot of movement at the different sections. We don't need to use it as just one big unit. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is just come to rest somewhere between the middle of those two movements, wherever's comfortable to you. We all have slightly different postures and that's okay. But once you're there, what I'd like you to do next of all is just float your head off of your shoulders like a helium balloon. It's as if you're trying to get the crown of your head away from your tailbone as far as possible, and then just pop your hands down by your side for me. Now in that position, you should have a nice tucked chin position, nice wide, happy collarbones. And I just want you to engage around your shoulder blades, pop them in your back pockets, but without standing to attention, okay? You're still nice and loose and soft, all right? Whenever I say that, everybody does this. Okay, still nice and soft, just standing as tall as you can, okay? And now let's just connect with our breathing for a moment. So doing that nice umbrella breath in, that we talked about in session 1, and then as you breathe out, I want you to lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor. Thinking about those 3 different sections you've got around your back passage, lift and squeeze through your vaginal passage, and then tighten around your bladder opening. Let's just see if we can keep that switched on for a moment while we breathe in and out. Remember to breathe out through your ribs as you do that, but keep your core connection, keep your pelvic floor switched on. Lovely, well done. And now we're going to keep that connection on while we just loosen off a little bit more through the body. So we're all going to come forwards with our hands, all right? The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a nice pull back with the elbow, and then forwards again, and then pull back with the other elbow. And then Nikki, if you just want to keep going with that for me. Shakira, we're going to come back with the elbow, but then extend your arm at the back, and then come right up and over the top, looking at your hand as you go. Brilliant. And the other side. So extend, Shakira, and then right up and over the top. And let's do that again. And what's your pelvic floor doing? Is it still engaged?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. And the other side. So keeping that core connection going the whole time. I think we'll do one last one. Why not? Very good. And the other side. Brilliant. And over the top. Fantastic. This time, we're all going to take our hands up and over our heads, reconnect with your core for me, and then I want you to come forwards as if you're reaching over a beach ball, all the way down towards the floor. Then keeping your hands close to your body, you're going to stack up through your spine, one bone at a time. Take your hands back over your head with an in-breath. Look at your hands as you go. Breastbone up towards the sky. And then over your beach ball again. Now, if you find this uncomfortable in your spine, you don't need to do the full movement. You could just do half range. And at the end of the movement, you could also support your body weight through your knees with your hands. Let's do 2 more. And again, as you're doing this, just make sure that you're doing that little lift and squeeze and connect through your pelvic floor, using your deep core muscles almost to just give your spine a lovely hug while you do this movement. Last one, everybody. And up to the sky. Well done. Right, Nikki, if you want to get yourself sorted into a seated position on the chair for me, and Shakira, you and I are going to come down into a lying position, but we're going to get there via a roll down. So if you just stand at the end of your mat for me, okay? Switch on through your core, so you're lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor, chin onto your chest, and then you're coming down segment by segment all the way through your spine. And we're just going to hang there for a moment. Enjoy that stretch down the back of the legs and down the hamstrings. Enjoy that stretch through your spine as well, making your body as heavy as you can. And then we're going to come down onto our hands and knees and over onto your back for me. Lovely, and before we start with the exercises, we're just going to start with our grounding exercise. Again, just focusing on where we are in the room and focusing on what we're about to be doing. So have another look around the room for me, like in session 1. Pick a colour, name a few things that are that colour. And then shutting your eyes for me, paying attention to what you can hear. And then just paying attention to what you can feel. So feel the pressure of the floor through your feet. Feel the pressure of the mat or the seat underneath you. And then let's scan our bodies from the top of our head all the way down to our toes. How are you feeling internally today? What's going on in your body? When did you last check in with how you were physically? And then connecting with our core muscles, we're going to do our umbrella breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're just going to lift and squeeze through the pelvic floor. Very good. And then Nikki, if you could just come forwards and sit on the edge of the chair for me, just so you can move a little bit more freely. We're all going to keep that core connection switched on. And we're going to just start by taking our arms from our sides up and over our head, all the way to the floor, Shakira, for you. And back again. Now, as you do that, I want you to focus on keeping your rib cage nice and soft. So Shakira, for you and I, that means that we're not flaring our ribs up towards the ceiling. And for you, Nikki, that means that you're not arching your back and flaring your ribs forwards. Keep those springs that we talked about in session 1 switched on, the springs that go between your bottom rib and your pelvis, just to keep that core connection going. And then let's see whether we can add a heel slide to that. So as you take your arms long, you're going to slide one heel away along the floor, and then you're going to return. And again, you're aiming to do that without flaring through your back, keeping your ribs nice and soft. Let's just do a few more each side. Staying connected through the pelvic floor as well for me. Fantastic, well done. Okay, so for the next exercise, Nikki, you're going to come into some knee marches for me. So you're just going to bring one knee up, that's it. And then the other knee. Lovely, okay. And then what we're going to be doing, Shakira, is some single leg scissors. So we're going to switch on through our core, and then you're going to float one leg up into what we call tabletop, which is when your shin bone is parallel to the floor and your thigh bone is vertical. And then we're going to bring that foot back down so that your foot is level with the other foot. All the movement comes with your hip, comes from your hip. Let's go with the other side. Your knee stays at 90 degrees the whole time. And let's go again. And again, make sure you're not arching your back and you're switched on through your core. Now, as you do that, it's helpful if you breathe out on the bit that feels like you're putting in effort. And the reason we do that is just so that you're not increasing all that pressure within your tummy. You don't want to be kind of bearing down through your pelvic floor. You want to be you want to be releasing that pressure through your breath. And we're just going to add in a little bit of some resistance to that. So we're going to take our opposite hand and we're going to push it against our knee as we come up into scissors. And Nikki, you can do the same. As you bring your knee up, push into it with the opposite hand for me. Good. Well done, everybody. Keeping that core connection going. We're going to do 2 more each side. Remember to breathe out on the effort. Let's do 1 more each side, everyone. Fantastic. Very good. Excellent. And then we're going to think about working our tummy muscles a little bit more. So Nikki, first of all, what we're going to be doing with you is if you put your hands behind your head for me, and I want you to kind of come across your body like so. All right, into a little bit of a crisscross. And we could even add an opposite knee raise into that as well at the same time. Okay, that's it. Well done. Does that feel all right? Yeah. Make sure you're breathing out on the effort, really lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor while you do that. And we're going to do a little bit of abdo prep work. So if you come back down onto your back for me, Shakira, hands down by the side of your body, all right? And then we're going to switch on through our core, so lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor. You're going to bring your chin onto your chest, roll your shoulders up and forwards, looking down between your knees, and reach your fingertips towards your toes as you do that. Lovely. And then rolling back down again. Fantastic. And let's switch on again. And coming up, looking between your knees as you do that, and then releasing back down. Let's keep going. How are you doing, Nikki?
Good.
I've got you doing tons of these. We're going to do 1 more, Shakira. And then for the next one, Shakira, we're going to reach down on one side, just towards 1 foot, just to bring in the muscles down the side of our trunk a little bit. And then coming down, and then go up to the other side. Make sure you're lifting and squeezing through the pelvic floor the whole time. And we're going to do 2 more each side. Keep going, Nikki, if you can. Last one. Fantastic, very good. And let's just go into a nice stretch. So Shakira, if you take your legs long for me, and then all of us going to take our hands up and over our heads. So Nikki, you're taking your hands into the sky. We're just stretching our hands over our head. Make your body as long as you can. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So, Nikki, if you want to come up into standing for the next exercise, and you're going to go back to that exercise that we did where you were coming over the beach ball in standing and then stacking back up for me. So you're thinking about the movement through your spine in a standing position. And Shakira, we're going to go into our bridge, thinking about the movement through our spine doing that exercise like we did in session 1, but we're going to add our arms into that as well. So if you bring your heels nice and close to your bottom for me, Shakira, and then switching on through your core, we're going to tuck our tailbone up and under, flattening our back down into the mat. Peel your spine up off the mat, 1 bone at a time. But as you do that, take your hands up and over your head as well. And then you're going to leave your hands where they are on the floor of your head as you come all the way down through your spine, 1 bone at a time. And doing it like this, you just get a lovely stretch through the upper back. And then when you've finished your shoulder bridge, you bring your arms all the way up and over, nice and strong back to your hips. And then we go again. How are you doing, Nikki? Does that feel all right? Good. And remember, if it's too much, Nikki, doing the full range, you can just do smaller range if you need to as well. And then Shakira, we're going all the way down through shoulder bridge at your own pace, and then hands come over. Last of all, we're going to do 2 more of those, everybody. Well, Nikki, you might fit more than 2 in because I think yours take a little bit less time than ours. And coming down again. Lovely. Last one. And down again. Brilliant. And hands coming over nice and strong. Fantastic. So for our next exercise, Shakira, you and I are going to come over onto our sides and we're going to start working our glutes. And Nikki, again, you're going to do these in standing. So you're just going to hold onto the chair with one side. If you actually face forwards, that's fab, okay? For the first set, you're going to take your leg out to the side, but I want you to lead with your toes. So your toe's going to point out to the side. That's it. Lovely. Fantastic. And then for your next set, you're going to be taking your foot behind you, out straight, that's it, pointing your toe. And then for your third set, you're going to take your foot straight out to the side, leading with the side of your foot rather than your toe. Okay, so I'll come back to you as we go along, but that's just a summary for you. Okay, perfect. So we're down on our sides. If you want to lie all the way down, just head supported on your arm. You want to have your heels in line with your bottom. Okay, so I like to pick them up just so I can see them, then put them down, knees at 90 degrees. You put your hand on your hip bone and make sure your elbow's pointing up towards the sky. And it's really important that we kind of keep our hip nice and still while we're doing this exercise. So the other thing I'd like you to do is just take that top hip away for me so that your spine is parallel to the floor. Okay, and then we're going to start working these glutes without rocking backwards through our hips. So let's switch on through our core muscles. Nikki, you're going to go into your side leg lifts leading with your toe, and Shakira, you and I, keeping our hips still, are just going to lift that top knee, and then we're going to bring it down again. Okay, so engaging through your core the whole time. Make sure that you're not dropping back through your hips like this. All right, keep your hips where they are and just lift that knee. Is that all right? Yeah, that's it. Keep going. Let's see if we can do another 4. Is that okay, Nikki? Fantastic. And then Nikki, you're going to go into that stretching with your toe behind you. And Shakira, you and I are going to go into a nice straight leg. And I want you to go up, pointing with your toe, and then come down, pointing with your heel. As you do that, make sure you're keeping that top hip away, so you're not kind of collapsing your spine down into the mat. You're not going to get your leg quite as high, but you are going to activate your glutes more in that position there. Keep going. We're going to do another 4. And then after this one, Nikki, you're going to go into those side leg lifts again, leading with the side of your foot. Okay, Shakira, you and I are going to go on to some small leg circles. So bring your leg back up to hip height, and we're just going to do some very small circles forwards, but trying to keep your pelvis really still. So you're just moving your leg in the hip socket. It does, doesn't it? And then this is the one that really burns. We're going to add on some circles backwards. That's it. Push through. Keep going. Well done. Fantastic. Well done. Bring your knee towards your chest. Give your glutes a rub. Well done, glutes. That was hard work. Brilliant. Right, we're going to come up into sitting, Shakira. I'd like you to sit cross-legged for me, and I'm going to work in a windswept position. And then Nikki, if you want to come into a seated position on your chair, just sitting at the front of your chair as well, so that you can get a little bit of movement too. All right, so when you're in this windswept position, you just got feet in one direction. It's not comfortable on everybody's hips, to be honest. So you can sit cross-legged like Shakira is, or in a chair. You can even do it up on high knees as well, these exercises, if you need to. Okay, I'm going to start with a lovely side bend stretch. So let's just make sure that we're switched on through our core first of all, and just float your head off of your shoulders again, elongating through the spine. And then we're going to come all the way over into a side bend. Lovely. And then in that position there, if you just release your elbow for me, side bend a little bit more through your rib cage, and then push long with that arm for a lovely deep stretch down the side. Can you feel that? Yeah, that feels nice, doesn't it? Well done. And then we're going to come all the way back out of that, and we're going to do that once more. Okay, so let's take the arm over. Lovely. And then release through your elbow, side bend a little bit more through your rib cage, push long. Fantastic. Good. And then we're going to come all the way out of that again. All right. And then if we just all take one leg forwards, so if you take same leg forwards as I have, well done. And we're just going to go into a nice hamstring stretch. You tight?
Yeah.
Yes. What about you? You tight?
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. And then going back up into sitting. Shakira, you and I are now going to take our foot across, and we're going to do a little bit of a glute stretch for the muscles on this side. And same thing for you, Nikki. If you just keep your right leg out straight, pop your other left foot across your ankle. That's it. And then if you lean forwards for us, you should feel a stretch through your buttock there. Can you feel that? Yeah? And then we're going to hold our knee and twist our bodies the other way. There we go. Everyone feel that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Brilliant. And then coming into a cross-leg position, Shakira, for you and I. And Nikki, you're just sitting on the chair as normal. We're going to put our hands across our body in what we call the Cossack position. And I just want you to rotate so that your hands are pointing over one knee. And then you're going to switch on through your core and then pop your chin on your chest between your hands. And then you're going to do a gentle roll down through your spine, taking your hands towards your knee, past your knee if you've got the movement, but keep your opposite sit bone down on the mat or on the chair, and you just get a really lovely stretch down through this whole side of your torso there. And then we're going to stack back up again, uncurling from the base of your spine all the way up to the top. Let's just do one more of those on that side. So pop your head between your shoulders first of all, and then rolling all the way down, and then let's roll back up. Good. And then coming back to the middle, and we're just going to do a little bit of rotation. So you're going to twist to the side, and then the other side, and this time go up with the leading elbow, and then up with the leading elbow the other way. Fantastic. And let's just do a little bit of a chest opening. So put your hands behind your head for me, and then just take your breastbone and your chin up towards the sky, and then in again. Just do 3 more. Lovely. 2 more. And the last one. Brilliant. And then back into the Cossack position, rotating around to the other knee this time, chin onto your chest, and curling down towards the floor. Remember to keep your opposite sit bone down. And then stacking back up. Very good. We'll do that one last time. So head goes between your arms, curling down towards the floor, and back up again. Fantastic. And then if you stay in your cross-leg position, I'm going to come into a windswept position with my feet this direction, and we're going to come all the way up and over again. So over we go. Lovely. Release through your elbow, side bend through your ribcage and push long. Brilliant. And then let's come all the way out of that. We're going to do it one more time. Over you go. Here. Release through your elbow, side bend, push long. Brilliant. And then let's just finish off in this position with our hamstring and our glute on this side. So this time you're going to take your left leg forwards, and then let's stretch out by taking your hands down your leg. Keep your knee as straight as you can as you feel the stretch down the back of the thigh there. And then moving on to a little bit of a glute stretch. So we're going to take our foot across our knee. That's it. And then we're going to pull that leg across our body and twist the other way. Do you feel that stretch, Nikki? Yeah. Again, that's a nice stretch, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then from there, we're going to come down onto our side to work our other glutes. So I know exactly. If you actually, Nikki, come back up into standing for me, you're going to stand on the other side of the chair to work the other leg this time. Okay? So we're going to be doing the same set, but for the other side. So Nikki, your first set, you're leading with your toe, then your foot's going behind you, and then the last set, you're leading with the side of your foot. Okay, but I will remind you as we go along as well. So Shakira, for you and I, just make sure that your heels are in line with your bottom and not kind of behind you, that your knees are at 90 degrees, hand on your hip bone, elbow pointing up towards the sky, and then remember to take that top hip away so that your spine is parallel to the floor, not just kind of collapse down into the mat. Once you're there, switch on through your core. So you're going to lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor, and then keeping your hips really still, we're just going to lift that top knee. And Nikki, you're going into those side leg lifts, but leading with your toe for me. Engaging through your core, keeping your body nice and upright as you do that. And Shakira, we're making sure that we're not dropping back through our hips. Well done. We're going to do another 4. Keep going, everybody. It's as if you're pulling your sit bones together at the back. Let's do 2 more. Well done. Last one. And then Nikki, you're going into 2 points out behind you. Shakira, you and I are taking that top leg long, and we're going to keep our hip away from our shoulder, and we're going to take our foot up to the sky, pointing with your toe, and come down as you point with your heel. And again, and down, staying connected through your core the whole time. That's 3. We're going to go for 8. And again. Lovely. Let's do another 4, everybody. Pointing long with that toe. Let's do 2 more. Good, last one. And then we're going to go into our little circles. So Nikki, you're going back to your side leg lifts, leading with the side of your foot. Shakira, you and I are doing these little circles forwards, trying to keep your pelvis really still. Let's do a few more. Well done, everybody. And then this is the bit where you feel the burn. We're going to do backward circles. Go on, push through it. Keep pointing that toe. Let's do 4 more. 2 more. Fantastic, good job. And bring your knee in towards your chest. Give those glutes a rub. Well done, glutes. Brilliant. Okay, so moving on. Nikki, you're going to come into a position where you're standing behind the chair, okay? So if you bring it round that way, that's it. Yeah, perfect. And then you're just going to stand facing it for me, okay? And then Shakira, you and I are coming up into a 4-point position. We're going to start with a lovely exercise called thread the needle. It's really great for rotation through the upper back, and you can do it in standing as well, okay? So if you just bring your feet back a little bit for me so that you're kind of leaning slightly down through the front of the chair, okay? And then we're in our 4-point position. Okay, so once we're in our 4-point position, we're going to go on to a lovely exercise called thread the needle, which is really great for just loosening off through the lower back. So we're all going to switch on through our core. So let's do our umbrella breath in. As you breathe out, lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor. And Shakira, you and I are going to take our hand and run the back of our hand along the floor through the gap between our other arm and leg. Taking our opposite ear and shoulder low, and then on an in-breath, we're going to draw back through, take our fingertips to the sky as you look at them. And Nikki, you're doing the same thing really. You're going to take one hand through the gap, rotating round, and then on an in-breath, opening all the way up to the other side. Lovely. Very good. Let's just do a few more. Reaching those fingertips as far as you can in each direction. Last one. Perfect. And then swapping arms and just going the other way. And again, we're going to do another 4 on this side. There we go. Just enjoying that movement. It feels lovely, doesn't it? Very good. Fantastic. Okay, and then moving on to an arm and leg exercise, we're going to switch on again through our core and then floating one arm long. And Nikki, you're going to take your arm up towards the sky for me and then down again. Let's go with the other arm. And as you do this, you're trying to keep nice and still through the trunk, nice and strong across the back of the shoulders, Shakira. We'll do one more just with our arms. And the other side. And now let's think about doing a similar action with our legs. So Nikki, you're just going to take one foot back and you're going to tap back with your toe, okay? But keeping your trunk nice and upright. Shakira, you and I are going to slide our toe along the ground, but keeping it in contact, okay? And then drawing it back in, and then the other side. Now, as you do this exercise, if you're in 4-point, I want you to be really aware of how your body's moving. So as you do it, make sure that you're not taking your hips side to side. So keep your balance in the middle. Make sure that you're not kind of rotating through the pelvis, that you're staying nice and strong across the back of the shoulders. that your chin's nice and tucked so that your head isn't kind of hanging between your shoulders. And then once you do all of that, just remember to breathe. It's a lot of instructions, isn't it? Let's do one more, everybody. Fantastic. Okay. And then we're going to go into a shell stretch for those of us who are in 4-point. And Nikki, you're going to go just into a little bit of a downward dog. So the shell stretch, first of all, we're going to pop our feet together, Shakira, and your knees nice and wide. Take your bottom down towards your heels and then stretch your fingertips away in the opposite direction. And for Nikki, you're just going to take your feet back a little bit. And then you're just going to keep your heels on the floor. You're just going to drop down through the front of your body. Just feel that stretch down the back of your legs. Is that okay? Yeah? Feels lovely, doesn't it? And the shell stretch is a great stretch as well. It's also a really good position to think about making sure that you can get a full release through your pelvic floor. We talk a lot about engaging and lifting through the pelvic floor, but in this position, can you do that nice in-breath all the way down and through your pelvis? And just make sure that you can completely relax and release through those muscles as well. So just do another few breaths. Fantastic. And then from there, we're just going to walk our hands back in and come up into standing, Nikki. And we're going to have a nice stretch through the front of these hips before we come back up into standing. So you're already in standing, so that's great. So for our stretches for the front of the hips, if we just come forwards into a forward lunge position, and you just bring one foot forwards for me, that's fab. And then we did this in the last session, but we're going to progress it on a little bit this week. So we're going to tuck our tailbone under, keep our shoulders back, take our hips forwards, all right? And then the side on the leg that you're feeling the stretch, you're going to take your hand up and over, that's it, well done, and go into a side bend, and it just kind of accentuates that stretch all the way through the front of that hip. Can you feel the stretch? Yeah? Brilliant. We'll just hold that for a moment. Good. And then coming back and down, and let's swap sides. So same thing again, tuck your tailbone under, keep your shoulders back, hips forwards, and then let's add a side bend into that. Well done. Lovely. And then coming back down. And then we're going to do a roll up to join Nikki in standing. So rock them back onto your heels, straighten your knees as far as you can, coming up section by section, all the way into standing. And then we're just going to do a little bit of work up in this position, okay? So first exercise, this is a really lovely one for switching on through the core, thinking about your balance, also a little bit of work through the legs. If you all pop your hands on your hip bones, and again, Nikki, you might want to use the chair for a little bit of support. You've got it there if you need it. So we're going to switch on and come up onto your toes for me. And we'll just wake up around those ankles first of all. So if you remember from session 1, when we do this, we're trying to have nice steady ankles and we're trying to float our head tall towards the ceiling rather than taking your body weight forwards. This time we're going to stay up on our toes and we're going to bend our knees, keeping them equal distance apart. Don't let them come together. That's it. We're then going to drop our heels and then we're going to straighten out. Well done. Okay, not an easy movement. Coming up onto your toes, keep your balance, bend your knees. That's it. Drop your heels. You okay? Mm-hmm. And down. Do you think we could reverse it? Should we try the other way? Yeah? All right. So this time, engage through your core to find your balance. Bend your knees. Lift your heels. Straight and tall, nice and slow. And down again. And let's do that again. So engaging through the core, bend your knees. Lift your heels for me. Straight and tall. Lovely. And then down again. Fantastic. Okay, next we're going to do a thigh stretch in standing. Now, not everybody can get their foot all the way up to their bottom in this position. So Nikki's going to show you a different way you can do this using the chair. So if you turn the chair all the way around for me, Nikki, and then stand side onto it, and you're going to put just one foot up on the chair. You can always hold onto the wall if you need to for your balance, fab. And hopefully feel a little bit of a stretch down the front of the thigh. Push your hips forwards if you need to. Shakira, you and I are going to challenge our balance a little bit and stretch out our thigh at the same time and work our supporting leg as Nikki is. So switch on through your core, make sure you're nice and strong on your supporting side. Bring one foot up behind you. Now if you keep your knees together, push your hips forwards. You can always pop your hand out if you need to for your balance. Okay, and hopefully you can feel the stretch down the front of that thigh as well. We're just going to hold that for a moment. Okay, is that okay? Yeah. And then let's swap sides, everybody. Keeping your balance. Easier said than done. There we go. Lovely, well done. Just give it another few seconds. Good job. Fantastic, and pop that leg back down for me. And next we're just going to go into some squats, but the way we're going to do our squats, I want you to really focus while you're doing them on what's going on in your pelvic floor and in your deep core again, okay? So the movement that we're going to do, we're all going to do the same movement. We're going to lift and squeeze through our core. We're going to do an in-breath as you take your bottom back and take your hands forwards. You're then going to breathe out as you lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor, taking your hips forwards. All right, so we do an in-breath on the way down, and then lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor as we come up into standing. So if you just both keep going for me, okay? The reason we're doing it like this is because whenever you lift anything heavy, including your body weight day to day, you might be lifting yourself out of a chair or lifting the shopping out of the boot of the car, anything like that. We want to make sure that you are engaging and lifting and squeezing through your deep core and your pelvic floor while you do that movement. You don't want to be kind of like breath holding and bearing down on this area. You want to be lifting and squeezing so that your deep core can facilitate with the movement, okay? So that's why we do a breath in on the way down, and then whenever you lift, breathe out and lift with your pelvic floor, okay? Let's just do 2 more so I can join back in. Fantastic. Really focusing on that pelvic floor lift. Fantastic, very good. And then we're going to think again about our pelvic floor in a different way now. Now, we've been learning how to engage our pelvic floor muscles, haven't we? We did those lying on the floor and things like that. But it's one thing knowing how to switch on your pelvic floor. It's another thing your pelvic floor being strong enough for all the things that we go about through our day to day. So we're going to think about it in a little bit more of a functional sense, making sure that our pelvic floor and our deep core muscles are there when we need them, okay? So what I'd like you to do, put your hands on your hip bones, and I want you to not engage your pelvic floor at all, or your core, all right? Come up onto your toes for me. Don't engage, keep everything loose, relaxed. Don't lift through your pelvic floor, and then just drop heavy onto your heels. Doesn't feel very nice, does it? No? That kind of feeling through your pelvic floor. Let's do it again, just so you really understand what I'm talking about. So come up onto your heels, don't engage through your pelvic floor, and just drop. Okay, and have a sense of how that feels when you drop without kind of supporting from below. This time we are going to switch onto our pelvic floor and you're going to feel the difference. So coming up onto your toes, do a nice strong lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor. Keep that core connection and now drop. Do you feel the difference? Yeah? Feels really different, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to do a few more and we're focusing on that sensation through your deep core and your pelvic floor, being ready for that impact and being lifted and prepared for it. So let's come up onto our toes again. Lift and squeeze through your pelvic floor and drop through your heels. Let's do 3 more. Coming all the way up and engage and drop. Do 2 more for me. Making sure you're lifting through your pelvic floor the whole time. And we'll do 1 last one. Fantastic, very good, lovely. And we're just going to finish off with our nice deep core breaths again. So let's do a breath in. As your hands come over your head, and then pop your hands behind your head on your breath out. And then breathe in. And then round. And let's do another one of those with your eyes closed. So hands over your head. Breathe out as you take your hands behind your head. Breathe in as you take your hands back up to the sky. And then round. And then the last one, just rescan your body for me. Pay attention to in what ways you feel different compared to at the start of the session. And hands round. And relax. Fantastic. Well done, everybody. Well done for completing the session. I hope your body feels looser and your mind more relaxed after those stretches. Why don't you pick a few of the stretches that you found particularly helpful and see how often you can do them over the coming week. You could incorporate Denise's safe space activity and some body scanning for a really lovely 15 minutes of compassionate self-care, which would have a positive impact on both your physical and your emotional well-being. And don't forget to keep doing your pelvic floor exercises as you go about your day.